Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show, presented by Mel Hamlin Ford. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Hey, beautiful Saturday out there, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is for sure. The last couple of days, it was hot there earlier, and the last couple of days been really nice. So
it has been kind of nice. So, hey, it's a call-in show, 316-462-3673. Hey, anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the automobile world, anything you want to talk about in the automobile world, racing, anything, I don't care. Just get a quick call into the front desk, the 316-462-3673. Tell the girls answering the phone you want to get patched in the podcast, and we will get you on the air with your question and get you a great prize package valued over, and we still haven't figured that out yet, Josh.
over $130.
I think it's over more than that now,
Yeah.
but it is. But anyway, it's a great prize package. Get your car tuned over 5,000 miles. As always, Josh, what's in the package?
We'll mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hamilton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on that vehicle. You'll get yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. Complete nitrogen for all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer, and then a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that thing geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. It's August. Can you believe it?
It is. That's it's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy. It's not going to be long at all. Lisa enrolled the boys in school here the other day, and so they're going to be kicking off on that here in a little bit. My neighbor, she works at the school, and they've already started back, and I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's like you said, I don't know, a while back or whatever, the summers have seemed to be getting smaller because we take off so much time during the year. I don't know which way I'd rather. I know which way I'd rather.
Oh yeah, give me the
summer.
Give me my summer, and I ain't got to worry about it. You cut a couple days off for Thanksgiving, couple days out for Christmas, and other than that, let's go to school. Let's get this over with so I can have.
That's exactly how I looked at it back then. Just hurry up and get me out of here.
So I'd like to have like about March from
March to October.
Yeah, March to October. We'll school that, and then the rest of it be my time. But anyways,
yeah. So hey, anyway, some exciting stuff here in the showroom. We've got our Roush Nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw the video we did on that or whatever. Mike and Logan did a fantastic job on that video. The Roush is a limited production truck. There's a crew cab and a regular cab. We have one of each so far done. We have more out on the lot ready to go, getting ready to go. We haven't had the superchargers put on them either yet, but it's a 700 horsepower truck. It's got the Roush suspension on it, Roush interior and stuff. It's just a fantastic truck. And then the next one we just finished up, and we'll be doing a video on it shortly, is we are the first dealer in the country to have a Pro Charger on an F-150 for 2025. We work very closely with the Pro Charger guys out of Kansas City. It's great to have them close. It's kind of like BG Products being real close and stuff too. But we finally got one of those done. It is on the showroom. It's not priced yet on the internet yet. I'll do that this morning here sometime soon. But it's got a Ritec suspension on it. It's got some 22-inch wheels on it, and also a Corsa exhaust on that truck too. So lots of varieties, lots of exciting stuff. Of course, we got the Shelby's, we got the other Roush trucks, and I just ordered a couple Roush lifted trucks yesterday, Josh. They just came back with a 6-inch lift truck from Roush. So we'll see those trucks probably in 60 days or something like that too. So if you're looking for fun things just to look at, come out to the Big Corner and let us show you the Shelby trucks or the Roush trucks, and lots of exciting stuff to look at. So
yeah, it's
I drove the Pro Charger truck down to get gas in it. And the bad part about it is I could never get on it.
Yeah.
You know why? Traffic. I wanted to. I got it on a little bit. When I turned the corner off the catalog on the 119th, it got a little bit. There was a truck in front of me that held me up. So it's probably a good thing it was in front of me.
That it was there. Yeah. I just looking at all the different designs, and it's amazing how many ways. We talked a little bit about this last week, but how many different ways there are to skin a cat, and I was thinking of the features or benefits one way or the other, whether because the Pro Charger, it's very similar to a supercharger, but it's different, right?
Totally different.
And how that thing operates and works, and like going through and just from the mechanical aptitude side of it, trying to me and a couple of the techs back there were kind of like, okay, well, if you were doing this, what would you prefer and why would that be? And there really wasn't a right or wrong answer, right? It was just kind of a matter of preference and stuff like that for sure. So,
well, I tell you, now that I've seen the ProCharger, let's go back to there, like the Whipple superchargers we got on our F-150s, and we do have some Roush superchargers on a few of the trucks because of just supply and demand of the superchargers. That's just a big, massive air pump that sits in the middle of the engine. We take the intake off and put that in there. Don't take it off, take the intake apart, put that supercharger on there, and basically it's just pushing the air by belt driven. It's pushing the air in there.
Yeah.
Now the ProCharger's the deal. It's off to the side of the motor. And I'm really telling you, the size of that compared to the supercharger, I can't believe they're getting the power through that.
So I would have, that was one of the things that we talked about, in a supercharger, you have the vanes or the rotors that go the whole length of the intake, but in this ProCharger deal, it's really compact and is almost more like an AC compressor size wise, and I'm thinking, man, just the volume of air, I don't, the tube is pretty large in that thing, and how it's turned back
it's
around.
Got to be. It has to be. Of course, when I first fired up the ProCharger truck, it sounded different.
Bad. Yeah.
I mean, it really did sound bad. I mean, I immediately called him and said, "Hey," and the guy says, "Hey, just rev it up a little bit. Just bring the RPM up, and it'll go there." So it's the gearing and everything inside of that thing that has to be so way it's been engineered, designed to help push that air into that motor so much more efficient, I guess is what I would say. From that part, and I go back and forth which way I would do, but I'm telling you, now that I see the ProCharger and what it does, I really think the ProCharger is the way I'd go.
The as far as installations, a little bit easier to install one of those. I think both of them are definitely something that probably somebody more than a guy in a garage, at home would need to do or perform, in my opinion, for sure. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that maybe tackle that or do that, but it's not an entry level job for sure by any means.
Well, Tim Daniel has an interesting idea.
Okay.
The easiest way to skin a cat is to convince the cat he needs skinning.
You start there. Yeah. I like it.
I like it.
So, I thought he was going to have a better idea of that, in the sense that we needed to take the ProCharger and a Whipple out to the track and go. Well,
I think we do need to go to BG with both of them.
Whoa, BG,
huh?
BG. That's a controlled environment on a dyno. Nobody can fall asleep at the light. Come on now.
Okay, I get that part too. So, but yeah, I'd like to see the real numbers comparing the two trucks to see kind of what it would do, how they compare and everything else.
Well, I think you're going to find, as far as peak performance, I think it'll be probably pretty similar, but I'm more wondering if when that kicks in will be variable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, and I guess you look at the dyno sheets, you can kind of see when the torque pulls in and when and lay them over each other and kind of see. But I'm not going to take this first ProCharger to Roush, that's for sure.
Sure.
The next ProCharger, we have one more ProCharger setting here, so the next one I'm going to pick out a crew cab and do it with that.
Oh, gotcha.
From that part, but we are, like I said, we are the first dealer in the country to put on a ProCharger on an F-150. So pretty excited about that we got picked. That's just a relationship we have with those guys, and we've sold them several cars. That they have a Mustang, they've got an F-150 and stuff that we've sold them to play with. I can't wait. They bought a Dark Horse Mustang from us. And setting it all up, and it's done. They're out driving it, doing everything else too. But they're going to put a few thousand miles on it. They're going to bring it back, and we're going to sell it. So it'd be fun to have that thing back. I'd love to go drive that one too, from that part. So lots of performance stuff, lots of stuff. But I still think that right now, until maybe if I drove both of them a little bit more than what I've drove those trucks to kind of feel it. But I'm leaning towards a ProCharger. I really am. Just to me, it's cleaner. It's funner, everything else like that too. But again, I haven't drove them enough to
say one way or the other. I would be a Whipple, and I don't know, just the sound. Because there is an audible difference between the ProCharger and the
when she's screaming about 6,000 or 7,000 RPM, though,
it don't make a whole lot of difference, right?
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah. So 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get the phone ringing. Love to hear from you. Love to get a great price package to you for each and every caller calling in. Just call that number. It's a front desk here at the dealership. Let the girls know you want patched in the podcast. We'll get you on the air and get you going. So performance at Mel Hamilton Ford. Come check us out, see what we got. And of course, all of our racing side from that part too. You know, Josh, last night I went out to Rush County at La Crosse and raced and never had been to that town. I went out there because William Nusser, who helped starting getting the track saved in Hutchinson, he has been at every one of my races at Hutch. So I decided that, I need to take the late model out to his track. I was told it was a little track, and it is a little track, but it wasn't as little as I thought it was going to be.
Really?
But a fun place. But at last minute, his fuel and tire supplier parts guy backed out on him. So we halfway put a parts trailer together out of my trailer out there.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see the racers coming in and into the trailer and getting their fuel and getting their stuff that they needed and tear offs and stuff like that. And they're just talking to them about how much they appreciated us being there to help them. I mean, there were several guys. I mean, we ran out of fuel. We did not bring.
Oh, really?
Fuel, but we hauled the amount of fuel we could haul legally.
Yeah.
In our trucks. But I wish we could have taken at least 2 more barrels of stuff. And I mean, we had to ration the methanol out. I had a guy come over and get 15 gallons and I had another guy walk in and need just 5. And I said, hey, run down to his pit. He's got enough, I think, to see if you can go get some out of him. So he did. And both guys got to race, which was cool. But it's really fun when you're out there and the racers are thanking you for the racing and taking care of them and all the stuff from that part and they know who we are. They know where we're from. But running out to Rush County, got home a little late last night, about 2:15. When I got
That's
home.
Early.
Well, kind of sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But it was a great race out there. We had a great 11 laps for a little bit.
Yeah, La Crosse, not a real big town, is it?
I know.
Yeah.
Of course, the racetrack's right on the east side of town, so basically we kind of rolled right in and rolled right back out. But it's not a very big town. But I will tell you, it's their county fair, I think is what it
was where.
And it was really cool because it doesn't see it a lot, but when it's full, it's full. And they had a great crowd last night. And I think a lot of it was for the fair and their fair, county fair or whatever it is. I got to talk to a couple of their fair board members, which is cool to talk to compare the fair board members back and forth, but from the 2 boards and stuff. But yeah, great time out there. But it was fun to have those racers thanking us. And
qualifying, how'd that go?
Didn't qualify. We just drew and we drew good. Drew outside pole. Couldn't believe it.
Who drew?
Jake did.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. So, yeah, we drew outside pole the first heat, took off, and he won it by a little bit.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the car dialed in, but we had it dialed in for the feature. It was really the first 11 laps. It was on par. It was on point. And he just got a little overjealous going into 3. I seen him. He kept creeping up higher and higher, but his lap times were getting faster and faster as he went.
Yeah.
And in this class, we can actually flag. So Nick's over there in turn 3 with the sticks, trying to tell him to slow down. And he said, Nick said, I had those sticks as wide as I could go, so I'm to slow down. And he just got up there and spun her around and went to the back. And then he got tangled up and did a little damage to the nose. So we got to get ready to go to Dressler, Nebraska.
Were you able to finish?
No. He could have, but he just knew he wasn't going any further. So he just pulled off and everything else too from that part. So, but yeah, headed to Dressler, Nebraska.
Off to Nebraska.
Sunday. Not a big fan of Sunday racing, but I guess we're going to go because it's a points race and we're leading the points at that with the Rebel late model series. So we're going to go to Dressler, Nebraska. It's fun. It's another new track we've never been at. I should say it's a 3H track. So everybody tells me it's a fun track too. So we'll find out Sunday evening.
Sunday racing's for NASCAR.
That's exactly right.
And a couch.
And something cold to drink. So you watch the first 20 laps, take a nap, wake up and watch the last 20.
Yeah. and the highlights.
Maybe go back and watch the highlights.
I was going back, speaking of NASCAR, going through the new Dale Earnhardt series or whatever.
Have you watched it yet?
I had, and it was just, I was blown away with remembering all them old sponsors or older sponsors, and I don't know.
Yeah, I tell you, I finally got through all 4 of those. What I've done though is I watched the first 2, and then I backed up and watched them again.
Yeah,
because I missed so much, remembering and everything else too. So then I did the same thing on 3 and 4. I watched 3 and 4, and then watched 3 and 4 again. So I've watched them all 4 of them twice. And it is a great series. I've heard many quotes from Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jr. saying that there's so much. It's true.
Yeah.
The only thing I disliked about the show, about this series, was I met the gentleman from GM Parts. He was our regional parts manager when we were in Hutch, Josh. And he was the one that actually sat across the table from him and signed the Goodrich deal.
Oh, really?
In 87 or 86, whatever that was again. But they really didn't highlight much. They kind of went into it, and all of a sudden now he's driving going from the Wrangler car, he just went right into the Goodrich car.
Goodrich car.
They didn't talk. I wish they had talked more about how that happened, how that transpired, why it did happen. And of course, they had a lot of, the guy from Wrangler was on it, did a lot of quotes and stuff too, which is cool. Oop, I guess we're back.
Yeah.
I hope we're back.
Had a little bleep in action there.
Yeah. But anyway, I just wish they'd have spent more time with going how he switched from Wrangler over the Goodrich side too. But they, is what it is too.
Well, and one of the things that, like I said, the sponsors, back when they originally started, like everybody knew the name on a car, right? And what that company was. And man, today you get into NASCAR and there's so many different sponsors out there that really don't even know who they are as far as a company, but yet they have a car. And then the other thing that I was kind of got a kick out was not necessarily even, but just some of the events. So some of the tracks, and then just the crowds at the tracks and how that kind of grew over the years. And, in some of those early on videos of the Wranglers, like, I mean, there was people there, but there wasn't stands for them. The tracks were, maybe probably poorly maintained and stuff like that. And so just kind of seeing that evolve through that series I thought was really neat.
Well, I think the other thing is too, is how Earnhardt came from nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Built that empire that he had. And, Ellie and I and Jake always talk about too, is if he was still alive, what would be happening? What would be different in the sport? And I really, truly believe if he was still around, the sport would be different than what it is today. Because I think he'd had more influence with NASCAR. I think he'd have been probably on the board of NASCAR or whatever, and I would love to see what DEI would have turned into.
Well, and the other side of that is he wasn't making his money racing.
No,
it was all,
no.
it was all the name, right?
Yeah.
And the memorabilia and stuff that went along with it.
I'd hate to guess how many millions of dollars of the apparel and his name and all the stuff that is still going on today. And that's his daughter, Kelly, is still managing that. According to and I'm sure she is. But just think, I just blows me away.
The flip side of that is, they had, in talking about that, they gave a percentage of how much more apparel he had over all the other teams, and it was like 3 times or 3x from what I remember right in there. And I mean that's crazy,
isn't it? That's still, if you go to the NASCAR tracks today, they got the trailer set out in front of the tracks and stuff. There's still one of his trailers right there.
Yeah,
a lot of people still lined up grabbing their stuff. Of course, I don't know why I always seem to have to get something over every time I go to.
Something new. Yeah,
something new. So hey, 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get the phones ringing. Love to hear from you this morning. Get a great prize package for each and every caller calling in, and we'll get that mailed out to you. For anything in the automobile world, racing, anything wrong with your car, don't get it, don't understand it, we'd love to talk to you. So anyway, Josh, what's new and exciting in the service this week?
Well, it's definitely been a busy week this week over in service. As summer's, I don't even want to say it. We're going to say midsummer, as we're midsummer, turning into August. How about that?
There you
go. It's definitely been busy over there for sure. Quick Lane's always going like crazy. Ford put out basically a service advisor competition, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is for all the service advisors or service consultants across the nation. And we're working on that this week. And basically, it's the walk around process or the write up process for advisors. And essentially, you send a recorded video of them performing that task, and there's going to be so many people selected out of each region, and then they'll get together and do like a national event type deal. And I was not I don't want to say convincing, but talking with the service consultants, one, just to be able to, because these guys are busy, right? Like day in and day out, and so to get out of the normal grind and do something different. Nobody likes being in front of a camera, right? So I think you can probably relate to that a lot.
I can agree to that.
And and as I'm conveying to them, like the level of professionalism that I believe we have and bring to the industry, I would put us up there with anybody. And that's, probably, patting ourselves on the back for sure. But it also gives you an opportunity to realize, like, when you write something down or you say, okay, these are the steps that I think are important in let's say a meet and greet or a walk around or something like that. How calloused you get in the industry and the business when you're doing it every day, that you maybe not even knowingly think about or skip over or miss, right? And so it's just like almost like a check of, there may be things that I'm missing just out of the natural day to day of being busy in this industry that you miss over. And so it's a great opportunity to kind of go back as a refresher and reintegrate these things that are so important for what a customer's experience is.
Talking about customer experience, of course I see a lot of things and watch a lot of things, try to, get better every day and learn from something. And there's this guy, he's on TikTok and he talks about managing people and things. And he was into a situation of managing customers. And Josh, I got it on my phone. I just got to figure out how to get Gus so I can get it on a big screen, kind of show everybody. But basically he goes through about how in the service business, when people pull in, most of the time they got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they need to make regular service or whatever, but it's not their favorite thing to be doing.
Sure.
From that part. And this guy was using an example of an airplane, flying. And his example was he needed to leave. He needed to come home a day early from what he had originally planned. And he just basically called up the airline, and the airline said, nope, nothing to do, nothing to do. Nope, you're out. Can't change it. Can't do nothing. Hang up on him. He said, it would have been nice. He says, even if they would have just tried. He said, this person didn't even try to help me, didn't try to do anything. Just said, nope, can't do it. He says, you know what? I hate that airline now. I will never fly on that airline again. But he said, if they would have just took some time and said, hey, let me see what I can do. He said, if they would have still then come back and say, hey, sir, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do, but I tried this, and this. He said, I wouldn't hate that airline. But it's the same difference in any business where you go and how you get treated and what you do and how you feel as you leave there of how you've been dealt with and stuff. And I agree with you too, Josh. And where I'm leading into this is Ford called us the other day. And I know, I've talked to you about this, about what our RO count is happening from year to year. And a lot of dealerships, their RO count is falling. And I know why it's falling, because of those service advisors aren't taking care of those people and wanting to feel good about coming back and getting them taken care of again. Our RO count is not dropping.
Yeah.
And he called me and he said, why isn't it? And you know what I told him? I said, you need to come and be on that service drive at 7 a.m. and watch it go. Watch what happens, and then go to a couple other stores and watch what happens to their stores and see if they're getting treated the right way and stuff. I says, I think we're a unique animal how we treat people over there in the Quick Lane, on both stores, not just Quick Lane.
Sure.
There's more volume and everything happening there at Quick Lane, but to watch what happens and watch what goes on. And he goes, we used to do that years ago. I said, yeah. And you're calling it now and wanting to know why these other stores are failing or their RO count is dropping. It's because they're not taking care of their people. They're not making the customers feel good. And that's what it's all about. You got to build that. They got to like you, trust, and believe in you. And if you don't like and feel and trust and believe in you, guess what? You're not coming back. But anyway,
I do believe that, I've had the couple opportunities over this last week, going to a couple of other type businesses,
Sure.
whether it's a home improvement store or whatever, but just trying to find help in a reasonable amount of time sometimes is hard, right?
Yeah.
And being here, like I 100% get that, and knowing that the staff's busy and getting them enough time to do that. But when you finally do get to that person and they're eager to help you or want to help you, it's a whole different experience than, somebody that quite frankly could care less if they have your business or not, and that does make a huge difference for sure in that overall experience.
And then it's kind of like Amazon. I mean, I hate to tell you, I use Amazon a lot for different things because it's easy, it's convenient. But that's what we have to do as a business when that customer walks in, is we got to make it easy and convenient for them too.
It's all about convenience for sure.
All about convenience. That's what everybody's worried about, their time and everything else too. But I run the same deal as you talked about that. I remember when I first didn't really want to do Amazon because I wanted to keep the brick and mortar things around. I walked in a store, walked around, couldn't find no help. Walked around, couldn't find anything I wanted. Couldn't find what I wanted.
Yeah.
Went home, jumped on Amazon. The damn thing was sitting in my house the next day. Exactly this thing that I was looking for that I couldn't find at that other store. So we've also, the business around have ruined it for themselves and made Amazon even bigger for what it is.
I would agree with that for sure. For me, it's definitely a touchy feely thing. Like if I'm going to buy something, I want to look at it, touch it, feel it. I want to walk out with it right then and there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so
I don't want to wait that 24 hours or 48 hours.
So I sure try to do my due diligence to not make that a thing, but it is convenience, right? Like just boom, there it is. And
okay, Tim Dano's got another good. We got a Richard Green coming through. Let's get him patched through. But Tim Dano, every touch counts. They're either going to be positive, negative, or neutral. Always best to start off positive. Yeah, I 100% agree with you that too. Oh, Jordan Whitehead's coming through too.
We're gonna start with Richard. So we'll get Richard patched through first, and then we'll see where we get from there.
See where we get with Jordan. Tim, great points, great comments on that too. 100%. It's got to start off positive from a meet and greet from that part. We're ready to go with Richard.
Yeah, Richard, you're on live with Under the Hood. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you too. Speaking of power adders on your car, whether it's the Whipple or the Pro Charger, I just am like driving a car that has a turbocharger on it.
Yep.
It's a 1.5 liter small engine, but it does have the turbo on it. Which this is the first time I've driven anything with the turbocharger on it, and I have to say I'm impressed. If you're having to merge into traffic, like get on a 54 or something like that, I'm impressed with how much power that thing adds to that small liter engine. Previously had a. Go ahead.
It blows me away too how we can take these little 4-cylinder engines and we're putting out horsepower and torque, 7-8 years ago that we did with V8s.
Exactly. I mean, it's very impressive. You put the pedal down about halfway down, and it just takes off. I mean, I'm impressed with. I had been concerned about getting a car with a turbocharger because they worked the bugs at them. Didn't they have a problem with them a few years ago? It was just like season up or something.
Well, what really happened years ago with the turbos, they were just basically oil fed. And they were basically not designed. They were just basically strapped onto a motor. Like your motor was designed to run with a turbo and set up that way correctly. Of course, our parts that we're putting these engines today are so much better than what they were even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But this turbo is designed to be on that engine to work. But it's also oil cooled, but it's also water cooled, which helps a big difference from that parts. And the other thing that happened, those old turbos back in the day, because I worked on a lot on the turbos, the oil lines that fed them weren't big enough, and they clog up with sludge because people wouldn't change the oil because the turbos create so much more heat right there. And of course, when you lose oil, guess what happens to the turbo? It just scatters it, and then it scatters it into the motor, and then you got a complete destroying of a complete engine assembly from that part. But today, these engines have been designed to do this. Ford kicked in the turbos, or the EcoBoost, as you would call it, but it's still the turbo situation in 2011. Here it is, 2025. We're still running the same 3.5 liter.
Yeah.
Changed a bunch of times, but they've been designed to run with those. And again, being a difference between water cooled and oil cooled makes a huge difference on these turbos.
So let me ask you this question. That is one of the reasons I haven't got a car with a turbo. In the past, I haven't gotten a car with a turbo. But what's the life expectancy on a turbo? If you get a car with a turbo on it, like this car that I have right now, it's a 1.5 liter. Is that supposed to last the life of the engine, or is that something that gets replaced down the road about 40,000, 50,000 miles?
No. Yeah. So I guess I'll
jump in there. I'll give you my
to me
opinion, too.
that question comes down to maintenance.
There you go.
And if you maintain it like you're supposed to, you won't have any issues with it. I'm not to say that we've never put a turbo on a vehicle,
Yeah.
but the number of them that are out there versus the number of turbos that we've had to replace, like, it is not a problematic situation at all. And typically when you get into a situation where there's a turbo that needs to be replaced or it came apart, it's due to lack of maintenance,
because
and somebody not taking care of it.
Oil couldn't lubricate it or whatever, but it is a lack. It's as long as you're maintaining that car, and that sort of thing, where that oil can keep feeding to that turbo correctly and not plugging a lineup. But that's where, the heat those extra that the turbos build, it needs a good quality oil in there, and it needs a lot of that oil flowing through there to make it live. And
well, I think you could probably say, so F-150 is our number one selling pickup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that F-150, you have a motor option of a 2.7 liter that has a turbo,
yep.
3.5 that has a turbo, and then a 5 liter V8, right?
Yep.
And in that configuration, it's the number one selling pickup. Percentage wise, how many of them are turboed vehicles versus the V8?
9 out of 10 are turbos.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
And there's a lot of those on the road, a lot, and just the amount of failure is very minimal.
Yeah, very minimal. That's the biggest thing, is keep the oil changed in that thing, and also keep an eye on the coolant. I mean, really, it's not the freeze protection of the coolant. Just make sure that the acid level of that coolant stays right, so it doesn't start eating away at stuff while that coolant is working through the system.
Okay, well, that's good to know that it's really not a part issue. That if you're doing what you're supposed to do as far as oil changes go, there should never be a problem for the life of the vehicle.
That's
so.
Correct.
Hey, I do have one question. Let's say, for instance, you or whoever wins the race that they're in. Now there used to be a tech inspection after a race. Now let's say if you win a race, do you have to go to a tech inspection, and then what do they check on that tech inspection? As far as legality.
That's a great question. Every track is different. How tech inspection works. There's some tracks, like last night we did some pre-teching. You actually were on the scales before the races, and we're actually checking our droop angle of our rear spoiler and stuff like that too. But that's up to that tech inspector, that he can check what he wants. It's kind of like I had a guy today, last night, come in. What are they going to check in tech? I said, well, you know what? They're not going to tell us what they're going to check, because then we'll make sure it's correct before it goes through that deal from that part. But yeah, every track's a little different what they check. And, last night it was the droop angle and also our weight, what they were checking last night. But again, they could check shocks, they can check tires. And again, there's many things that they can check. There's not enough time to check a complete car like NASCAR does, the pre and after check like NASCAR does from that part. Of course, there's millions of dollars involved in those races, but yeah, every track has their tech, and there's a couple tracks I've been to don't even have scales. So hate to tell you what happens when we know there's no scales at that track. We're a little light going across that one. I can promise you that.
Hey, you know what? I was at one of the NHRA races up in Topeka, and they have a large building up there where they run this particular. When I went up there with my brother, and they were actually running the Pro Stalkers through there for tech inspect.
Yep.
And the guy, I can't remember who it was. He had his racing clothes, like he had his racing jacket, some pants or something like the fireproof pants, and all that was stacked. That he had them in the car, like on the floorboard or something like that. And the tech inspector said, would you please pick up all that stuff? And so I guess he thought he might have had weight or something been hidden under his stuff. So he requested the driver to pick up all the clothing that he had temporarily in the car there. And so I don't know, see if there's added weight or something to it that he could remove later on.
I'm going to promise you he was hiding something. I can promise you that. He was worried about getting caught with something, why he had that stuff laying in there. I can promise you from that part. But, sometimes at the dirt tracks, this tech does get a little when you have to DQ someone or you dock someone some positions. It's a tough deal to do, especially when we're over there at the Hutch track. And just our last race, we had a stock car. His deck height was too high.
Well, and then I wonder about guys like that, and then just okay, now you get in an accident, or in traffic, and things bend up or tweak up, or how does that?
That's another rule that there's gray area in that and all that.
Yeah.
Usually the guys that get in the race aren't going to make tech.
Yeah.
I don't know much about how someone would actually get caught doing the dirt track type of stuff. What would normally be out of kilter, like a airfoil or tire or something? What would get what would get you in trouble?
Number one's weight, and a lot of guys, on the weight side of that situation, forget about fuel burn off and don't keep enough fuel in to make weight, because we try to keep our cars right as close as we can to what the minimum weight is for sure. The other thing is deck height. It's because the deck height, when it gets so high in the air, then it gives you more, downforce to help you push. There's rules on that deck height, and that's what happened to us over at Hutch last time we raced over there. We had a stock car. There's a minimum deck height, and this guy's was a little bit too high. But probably what happened to him is he had a little bit too strong of a right front shock that held the right front down, which brings the left rear up. And we gave him plenty of time for that right front shock to come back down and level back down, but it didn't. Now, in the late models, we have what we call a droop rule. They jack the car up and slide a little deal so we know the rear tire just comes off the ground, and there's a measurement on the back spoiler that you have to meet. It's 51.5 inches, and you can't be any taller than that, so that doesn't put that spoiler up in the air. But usually what you find mostly on situations is weight.
Yeah.
They're light from that part. But there's shock rules that you can check. There's a lot of rules that you can check, but you got to have a reasonable amount of time. You can't sit back there and tech for hours either. So the tech guy usually picks one or two things that he's going to check, and as they come through the situation. But like I said, number one is the weight, and then I would say deck height is probably the next thing.
Well, I'm not going to push you on the spot here. Now, this is kind of a strange question anyway. But in your opinion, do you have one or two people that that are kind of really skirting the rules? Don't mention name, but do you race against people that are kind of like always getting in trouble for something like that, or is it kind of not really?
No, not really. I think everybody tries to play pretty fair and pretty even, but it's like on my modified, I told my car builder, I says, take me to the edge, just don't take me over from that part. And that's where everybody tries to play that rule, and that's where you kind of get caught sometimes with that deck height, or you get caught with the weight or whatever. But I think pretty much everybody out there today realizes the money we spend on these cars and the competition that's in these cars and stuff like that too. And I will say, if you get caught several times, they're probably going to not let you come back and race. I would do the same thing. If I got a guy that's consistently doing something wrong with the same thing and he's not trying to correct it, sorry, that part. But I think everybody out there today really realizes the dollars it spends on these race cars and trying to be competitive. And no one wants to get DQ'd. No one wants to get dock spots. That part. That's embarrassing.
Well, I also think that's really kind of part of racing, right? Is to understand the rules to a point where, like, I'm trying to confide by these rules, but also work outside the lines to come up with something new or an edge or an advantage, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a guy I know very well. This builds probably the best modifieds in the country right now. And he always says, I was never a rule breaker. I was a rule maker.
You were the reason that they made the rule, right? Yeah.
I wish he was listening because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But and that's the difference, is trying to be innovative, trying to be on the cutting edge,
sure,
being on the leading edge.
Well, I think a NASCAR and all the, years of things that have happened in that sport that, that they then made a rule for the following year because of, a driver one way or the other. But it's not that they were necessarily doing anything wrong, but
they just stretched. Nothing was written in the rule book about it.
Once they figured out, hey, this guy maybe has a little bit of an advantage doing this, we need to give that advantage to everybody, right?
Or you rewrite the rule or to explain it differently or describe it differently the way the rule was written in the book in the first place too. Had that happen a couple times too.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thank you guys very much for your information today. Have a good afternoon.
Hey, thanks for the great questions. Love it. Thanks for calling in, buddy. All right. I wonder if Jordan is still waiting around for us.
Get him patched through and see what Jordan's got to say today.
I'm sure he's got. I'd love to talk his thing about getting DQ'd or anything in his racing rules.
What was cheeseburger? Was it?
Yeah, the cheeseburger.
Hamburger.
Cheeseburger. No, it's cheeseburger.
Cheeseburgers.
Let's just ask him if he wants
Okay,
to tell the
well-
story. He probably doesn't want to tell the story, is what I'm going to bet.
Maybe not. Okay, here, let's go to the phones. Let's talk about Jordan. Jordan, you're on live with Under the Hood. Good morning.
What's up? How you guys doing today?
Hey, real quick, Jordan, before we get going any further whatsoever, and you got to be truthful
what?
before we go any further in this conversation. Okay. Were you
Okay.
listening? Were you listening to the previous guy's caller in stuff?
No, I was not. I've been on hold.
I thought he was listening because we were talking about teching cars in the dirt track and different things and getting, what's the common thing that drivers get caught with, and different things and stuff, and how tech works, and great questions the guy was asking about on that situation. So my first question is going to be to you. Josh wants to know about the cheeseburger story for one, but number two, have you ever gotten DQ'd in a race car?
The cheeseburger story was not one of my fun.
And you don't
there
have to
was
tell
an
the story if you
altercation.
don't, but it's okay.
There was an altercation at the racetrack,
An
and
altercation.
I had a cheeseburger in my hand, and he put his head down and he charged me like a little bull. And quick thinking, I threw the cheeseburger at him.
And I'm
And
sure
it,
that diffused the
I-
whole situation right there.
Believe it or not, it did for the time being.
Other
For
than
the
the
time
cheeseburger.
Did he catch
the
it?
cheeseburger exploded.
I
I
thought
had just ketchup and mustard it all up, and he left. But about 15 minutes later, he came back with a lynch mob, and that's when the real stuff went down.
so. Did he eat your cheeseburger?
No, he
Okay,
did not.
just
It fell right there on the ground at the now called Salt City Speedway.
Oh, that was in Hutch too. Huh?
Have I ever been DQ'd in a race car? No,
Don't lie.
not through the tech line. I've been DQ'd twice for rough driving when I was young and didn't have a lot of craft, let's say.
Craft.
But
did you forget did you forget to let go of the go pedal or what?
yeah, a couple times. But I've never been DQ'd through the tech line. But I that's just pure luck because there was times we were definitely in the gray area.
Well, I get the gray area. Yeah, I get that too.
And that's what's fun about racing is, it's the tech official's job to police it. It's our job to live in the gray area of the rule book, and any little advantage you can get is great. I mean, like, for example, one of the best of all times at it is Danny Lasowski. And, they've rewritten rules in the rule book because of him. And one of the things he did that is one of the coolest things I've ever heard of, in a sprint car, the nose wing can only be 44 inches past the front axle. And that's how they measure it, and they check it after the race, because the farther out that nose wing is, the harder it pushes down on the front of the car, the better it steers, so on and so forth. Well, he made an axle shaped like a top hat. So
Like a
when
what?
you measured from the finish, shaped like, if you look down on it, it would be shaped like a top hat. Or the letter C, if you will. So the center of the front axle was way farther forward than the spindles. And so if you measure from the center of the axle to the nose ring, he was legal. And then the World of Outlaws came back the very next week and said, hey, you have to have a perfectly straight front axle. But, that's a great example of a driver living in the gray area. He says, hey, it's got to be in front of the axle. It does not say your front axle has to be perfectly straight. And, the greatest of all time, that's what they did.
Yeah,
they referenced it in the movie Days of Thunder. Harry Hogg, he was the king of that. Harry Hyde was.
Yeah, he wasn't a rule breaker. He was a rule maker.
100%. That's the way to be looked at. I mean, if you're just straight putting nitro in your fuel, or you're over cubic inch, or you do something like that and roll through there, that's low hanging fruit.
I remember.
Pitched. But if you can do something that rewrites the rules, that is legend.
I remember this is back in the 80s when I was at the Pontiac store in Topeka, and that's when the first time around, the early years of the Topeka Heartland Raceway, and all the NHRA guys were coming there, and the Pro Stock guys were, we had several of those guys that came on the showroom and brought their cars and stuff. They were Pontiacs back then. but I still remember him. One of the guys, I know his name. I just don't want to put it on the air here, whatever. But we were out there in the pits at Topeka, and all of a sudden there was a big boom, and it was his car, and he had put nitro, and it wasn't legal in the pro stock bed. I mean, he was running nitro, and it blew up on him in the pits. So yeah, talk about getting busted there real quick, right?
Don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. So, but anyway, he was trying to do things that wasn't supposed to be. Remember that quite well.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But
Jordan, what
no, I
else is
didn't
on
hear
your
last-
mind?
Well, I didn't hear your last caller, but I was listening before that when you guys were talking about your customer service, and you might want to sit down because I'm going to give you a compliment. It doesn't happen very often, so savor the flavor. But I will tell you, as an outsider that does a lot of business there, a purveyor, you might call me, I have never seen a company do better at treating their customers than Mel Hambelton Ford. I mean, it's a culture that's built into your business. I'm sure it starts at the top with you guys. And I mean, from service to sales to every aspect of it, you know, you're really, everyone buys into it. It's a culture. It's an attitude that they truly, truly appreciate. You chose to spend your dollar here. And, you know, you just don't see that anymore. I mean, from restaurants to retail stores to anywhere. I mean, I feel like as a society, we've kind of lost to that. And, you know, it's really cool that Mel Hambelton Ford, I mean, people compare going to a car dealership like they do a dentist. There's a stigma with it. And it's just not like that there, you know. I mean, you guys walk them through the process. You've got a loaner car if they need one. You'll shuttle them where they need to go. You try to get them the best deal possible. There's service after the sale, and it really seems like you're trying to get their future business, not just their dollars today. And like I said, I think that is really lost in today's world, and it's something that really impresses me about Mel Hambelton Ford as a whole. Even in my small business, you know, I find myself every day like, what would Josh and Phil and Lisa do here? How would Mel Hambelton Ford approach this? How would they deal with this customer that's maybe upset? Or how would they deal with the situation I got going on here? It's a really awesome thing you guys have done. And sadly, the competition isn't very stiff anymore, because everywhere you go, you can tell the people there are just collecting a paycheck. They're counting the hours down till they can leave. You know, they absolutely hate it. And it's just not like that. I mean, people leave their tags, their Mel Hambelton Ford tag on the front of their vehicles. Like, you know, I see them all the time. And, oh, you bought that from Mel Hambelton Ford? Oh, I bought my last 6 there. You know, like most of the time when they buy from a dealership, first thing they do is take that tag off and throw it away. And they wear those like a badge of honor. I mean, it's a really cool deal, man. You guys should definitely be proud of yourself for what you've built out there. I don't know where it started or what the recipe was, but you've got something figured out for sure.
Well, Jordan, I appreciate that very much. It's been it's not easy, I will tell you that. Right, Josh?
Sunny and 70.
Sunny and 70. Some days it's more challenging than others. But
that's, I think, comes down to people wanting to do the right thing. And I
Yeah.
think that's what makes the biggest difference.
Yep.
You know, for sure.
Exactly. So, no, Jordan, greatly appreciate the compliments and comments about us and what we're doing hard. But that is what we try to do, is take care of everybody as best we can. We're human. We make mistakes every now and then.
Yeah.
And we try to take care of them as quick and as fast as we can and not have to wait it out or try to let it sweep it on the rug and think it's going to go away. But, you know, there are times when customers try to take advantage of that situation too, that we have to kind of reel that situation in. And Josh and I dealt with one just yesterday. So, you know, but again, that's the less than 2%ers out there.
Sure.
From that part.
Yeah, I would say that's the exception, not the rule. I'm just saying, as a whole,
Yeah.
and the general public,
Yep.
the rapport is good.
Yep, get it. So, well, Jordan, I greatly appreciate that. Sure glad you haven't ever been DQ'd through tech. But
Keep it that way.
Well, he's done racing.
I
He's
know.
done racing.
Well, you don't know that.
Oh yeah, he's done.
They could have a throwback or something one day.
I like to tell people with my new gig that I've retired to the press booth.
To the press booth.
To the
yeah.
press booth.
He has done that. I think the other issue we got is something his dad told him that I'm using now today, that Nick and I use today, is if the car's not performing well, it's either the motor or the balls. And that motor sounds pretty damn good. So I think that's where Jordan's lacking right now.
That's not you kind of messed it up.
I know.
But I'd say the car's not working, or I'd say something, I'm like, we're not fast enough or whatever. And he would say, son, it's either a motor issue or a ball issue. And that motor's running fine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, yep. Well, Jordan, thanks again for calling in. Appreciate it very much. Have a great day. I hope you got a busy day ahead of you doing something right.
Right. Well, I'm gonna enjoy my Saturday. I hope you guys do too.
Yeah, buddy. You too. Good talking to you. Thanks for the comments and everything else too, buddy. Really appreciate it.
All right. Take it easy.
Have a
See
good
you guys.
Bye.
Well, Josh, it's time to say.
We got one more caller. We'll get him patched through here.
Sorry, I didn't know that. We got another caller.
See if Larry's still hanging on with us. Had a lot of great conversation this morning.
Yeah.
Richard and his tech inspection question, I think, was really good too. Sounded like he was more of a drag racer.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
We got Larry coming through. We'll get Larry on the line. Good morning, Larry. You're on live with Under the Hood. Sorry about the wait.
Good morning, guys. I want to know if Phil has ever ran up in Boone, Iowa.
Oh, yeah. Headed back up there in a couple weeks.
Big time.
Yeah, it's the biggest dirt track racing event in the country by far.
You're
No one touches it. It's we'll start off.
So is it that class of car the largest event, or just
the whole
general
event?
Any dirt racing?
Probably most classes are that way too. Probably the biggest of ever.
Really?
But Boone, Iowa will start on a Saturday night, running what they call the Prelude race, and then the next 3 days is divisions, and the last 3 days are more divisions and stuff. But it's basically a 9-day deal.
Wow.
8-day deal. Usually around 1,100 to 1,200 cars go through there. Like our modified class that we race up there last year was 200 and some cars competed. But yeah, Boone, Iowa. I mean, I remember the first time I went up there, and we went up there just to practice, kind of get the car used to the track. And I walked up on their catwalk kind of thing to walk around. And I looked down, the dirt's black. And the guy was standing there, and I said, "What did you do to make your dirt black? What are you putting in it?" I figured putting oil in it or doing something, whatever. He said, "No, that's just our dirt up here. It's just black up here." And that's crazy how dirty it is. But I will tell you that to go to Boone, Iowa, is to watch that race go down. The Boone Super Nationals is probably the most fun and racing event there is. But it's like we'll say, we'll race that Saturday, the Prelude race, and then we'll come back on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then try to make the big show on Saturday. Last year we missed it by one spot getting into the big show, so we're going back this year with a vengeance to get it done for that part. But it's amazing how they put that on. Every track promoter in the country needs to go and sit down and watch that Boone race get put on. I mean, they put on race after race after race. They run 10 races and they redo the track, and as you're back racing in 20 minutes. I mean, it's a phenomenal deal how well they put that together. But it is by far the biggest dirt track event of amount of cars that show up of any event, of any series, of anything whatsoever.
My brother lived up there. He worked for the railroad. He passed on now, but the first time I went up there, just happened to go up to visit with him. And I didn't know what was going on. And I thought, what in the world is going on? There were just cars everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, it just went on and on. I thought,
yeah, it's crazy how much what that does. I mean, like I said, the first time I went to the first Boone, this is going to be our fourth Boone we went to. And the very first time we went there, I couldn't get over it. I mean, I stood up on my trailer and took a video and sent it to my family saying, look at these trailer after trailer after, just miles of trailers.
yeah.
But it's a great event. It's a lot of fun event. It's evolved over the years into this thing that's just massive, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, best of luck to you guys on your run up there. Okay.
I appreciate that. We're getting geared up and ready to go. The modified's back there hanging in the air. It's not going to race again until we head to Boone, and so we've got all of our notes from last year. It's the same car going back as last year, so hopefully everything will go our way this time. All we want to do is make the big show, and we haven't made it yet. Like I said, we was one spot out of it last year from getting there,
right.
But hopefully we can get there this year with a little luck. Got to have a lot of luck.
I can see how you came out. Have you'll probably be talking about it.
Well, tune in. Also, watch Team 3J Facebook page. We'll be posting stuff up there, how we're doing, what's happening. You can follow.
Oh, really?
on,
Okay.
Team 3J Facebook. There's also a YouTube channel we have. You can follow us there
Okay.
also on either one and watch how we're doing and what we're doing. But
All right.
we'll keep things posted as we move along.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Have
Thanks
a good
for
day,
calling,
buddy.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, Josh, it's time to say goodbye.
See ya.
See you next time.
see you
next
next
Saturday
time.
morning, 9 o'clock. Or hey, tune in on 5:30 on Wednesday for the latest update on Salt City Racing. Might have a few announcements stuff coming there too. So everybody have a great Saturday. Thanks for all the great calls. Thanks for the great comments. Everything on the chat line. Everybody, thank you very much. Everybody have a great Saturday and a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.